Today's shir should be for the Refuah Shalema of Yosef ben Malka, Adina bat Chana, and Mordechai ben Milka, and Eliyahu ben Tzipporah. Okay, so today's parsha, Vayishlach, I want to talk a little bit about the fight that Yaakov had with the Malach. We've talked about this in previous years. I want to say a couple of things that I may or may not have said before about this meeting, this showdown, this with Yaakov's nemesis. So we know the angel wasn't just any angel. This was the angel of Esav, and this was the Malach called Samach Mem. We don't want to mention his name, but it begins with Samach Mem. One of my rabbis used to call him Sammy Boy. That was his nickname. Now, we know that Yaakov was victorious. And when Yaakov was victorious fighting this angel, a very strange thing happens. He says to the angel, "Tell me your name." As if he didn't know his name already. He's just fighting with some strange malach, and then he wants to know his name. So what was the response by the angel? So, I'm trying to find the pasuk here. But it says, pasuk, here we go. Yeah. It's Perek Kaf, Perek Lamed Beit. Pasuk, is it also, where is it? Is it? Yeah, Pasuk Lamed. Vayishal Yaakov, Vayomer. So Yaakov asked, and he said, Hagida na shemecha, tell me what your name is. Fair enough. Yaakov told the angel his name. So, I want to know who I'm dealing with, who I've been fighting with. Vayomer, and the angel replies, he doesn't say, my name is Sammy. You should have said, my name's Sammy, pleased to meet you. We've just been fighting for the past however long it is, I'd like to know, to introduce myself. No. He says, Lama zeh tishal lishmi, why are you asking my name? V'avarech oto sham. And he blessed Yaakov, because that was really the objective. Yaakov wanted to be blessed by this malach. He had a fight, and afterwards he wanted to be blessed by him. Now you would normally think it's like, lahavdil, you have football teams, and after one football team beats the other one, you have this ceremony, they take off the shirts and they swap shirts. That's all, we had a nice fight, we want to end on friendly terms. What is going on here? And why this answer? Why didn't he just tell him his name? What's this riddle? So there's a couple of answers that I've discussed in the past. The first one is that the answer was very, very appropriate. Let's look at the answer again. Let's analyze it. Lama zeh tishal lishmi. Why are you asking my name? What is a name? A name defines somebody or something. Adam Arishon, he named all the animals. So the name defines the thing. You have Sham Mayim is like Sham Mayim. There is water. And then there's different things, every name in Lashon HaKodesh defines the essence of the thing. So what the Malach was saying in his very roundabout way is, why are you asking me what my essence is? Why are you asking my definition? It's pointless to ask for my essence. Why is it pointless to ask? Because I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly changing. I don't have one name. I've got many names. I've got many definitions. I'm everywhere in different disguises. 1 minute he could be Khmelnytsky. 1 minute it could be Stalin. 1 minute it could be Hitler. Yamach Shemam v'Zichram, all of them. Could be anything. Nowadays could be the internet, could be the iPad, could be anybody. Could even be a Talmud Chacham. Chas v'shalom, I'm not saying a Talmud Chacham is similar to Sammy Boy, but I'm saying, how would he disguise himself? He doesn't always disguise himself as the bad guy. Sometimes his most fiendish disguise is the good guy. The guy comes and puts his hand out. The guy comes and says, come to me, I'll look after you. I'll help you. And you'll see what I mean when we carry on a little bit further. So that was one answer. You can't define me, you can't pin me down, because I could be anybody at any time. And the second answer that he gave this, he said, why do you want to ask my name? It sounds like it's a question, you know? When you ask a question, sometimes you get a question back. Very often, Jewish people ask questions, they get questions in return. So maybe this was the same thing. He's trying to give a question in reply to a question. So the second answer here is that really his reply was not a question. It was a statement. He was saying, my name is, why do you ask? Let's analyze the words. Lama zeh tishal lishmi. Why do you ask lishmi? Why do you ask? That's my name. My name is, why do you ask? It's like a sort of riddle. My name is, why do you ask? What does that mean? It means he's trying to say that I am that really what defines me is not asking questions. I am, says this Malach Samach Mem, he says, I am the party man. I want to give you a good time all the time, every time. Short-term answer, short-term solution, like a drug. Give you something, a great, huge pleasure hit in one go. And then when your life is falling apart, you're feeling the effects of all these pleasures which can get you nowhere, and you ask a question, what does he tell you? Don't ask questions. I'm giving you a good time, no? I'm helping you out. I'm helping you to achieve a great pleasure in a very quick time, and then when you have a low from that pleasure, I'll give you another pleasure and a different pleasure. I'll take you to this website, that website. I'll take you, all the short-term stuff which is going to give you that hit. And then when you say, why? What's it doing me? How's it benefiting me? Is it making my life better? Or is it ruining my life? So what does he say to you? Why do you want to ask questions? Just accept it. You're having a good time, no? Leave it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We keep saying this all the time. So the same thing here. No, why do you have to ask questions? He wants you to become numb. Wants you to be, it's okay, I'm fine, don't worry about it. He wants to give you the injection, to give you the morphine, to give you the general anesthetic, or the local, I should say local anesthetic is more accurate. Once you've got the local anesthetic, fine, don't worry, give me all the heroin, give me all the stuff, throw it all at me. No questions asked, no strings attached, just give it all to me. And a beautiful hint to that is in his name. His name, Samach Mem, and Aleph Lamed after that. What is that word related to? Related to the word summa. A summa is a blind person. Blind person can't see. He doesn't want to ask. He's blind. He doesn't want to ask questions. He can't fathom what's going on. He's in his own position. He needs help. Him, as far as he's concerned, he's in his own world. He's not able to forage further without help. But he's making, this Malach Samach Mem is making us blind. He's blinding us to the truth. He's the great swindle. I remember once saying that why will the Yetzer Hara in the future, why will he be shechted? Why will he be slaughtered in front of all the Jewish people? Hashem will take this Malach, who already we've described a few of his disguises. He's the Samach Mem, he's Esav's angel, he's the Yetzer Hara, he's the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death. He's got so many different personas. So Hashem will take him and slaughter him in front of everybody. So you could ask, but at the end of the day, he's a Malach. He's a Malach is a servant of Hashem, correct? He has a mission, does his mission. He's done it very well. He's constantly working hard, 24/7, doesn't stop on Shabbos. He's a proper workhorse. And this is how Hashem rewards him. He gives him shechita at the end of the day so everyone can see what's going on. That's not the way to treat a servant. So the answer is, it's true that he is a faithful servant. And he does his job properly. But he does his job a little too properly. There's a little too much pride in his work. People are very proud when they work. They take pride in their jobs if they're normal, sensible people. You have a job, you take pride in your work. But you can take the job so far that you go way beyond your limit. You start tripping up the Jewish people and you start coloring the truth, making out as if, this is the mitzvah, don't worry, you can do this. Or you're a big tzaddik. Why do you want to go and do this thing? You don't need to do this. You're already a big tzaddik. You don't want to go too far. You don't want to come too from. You've got to have some. You've got to live we're living in the world. You're not living in a bubble. You're not living in a yeshiva. You're a married person already. You have to have the internet on. You have to have the iPhone and the iPad and all these things. You need these things. He's telling you all these things. He's making out like it's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to do all these things. Or you have to. Otherwise you're not normal. You're a hermit. That's what he tries to tell you. We're going to see a little bit more about this later. This is how he blinds us. This is how he goes beyond his job description, trying to get more and more people to trip up. That's why Hashem's going to take him and shecht him. Not because he's doing something he's not supposed to do. It's because he has done his job, but he's gone way beyond. He's done things in a maybe not so kosher way. So what happens after Yaakov defeats the Malach? And he asks him for a bracha. He asks the angel for a bracha. It's not every day you meet an angel. Although Yaakov met many angels. All the Avot met angels. But he wanted a bracha, fair enough. And what does a Malach say? What does this angel of Esav say? He says, excuse me, have you seen the time? I'm in a hurry. I have to go to Shamayim. I have to sing Shira before Hashem. You're asking me for a bracha now? Yeah, I just haven't got the time for it. I'm busy. It turns out that this Malach had one opportunity to sing Shira in front of Hashem, whatever that means. And that was his day to go and sing before Hashem. He said, you're pulling me, you want a bracha, can't you see, I've got a one-off opportunity, I need to go. So you could ask the very obvious question. If this Malach came to fight with Yaakov Avinu, and he had one opportunity to sing Shira in front of Hashem, that was his day, couldn't you pick another day? Say, look, you want to fight with me? Yeah, let's do it next week. Yeah, do you mind? I haven't got a window of opportunity at the moment. Let me put you down. Let me pencil you in for next Wednesday. What? Duff's got to pick that day. There's a beautiful answer to this. Why was it the Malach's day to sing Shira to Hashem? You know why? Precisely because he defeated the Malach. Because the Malach fought with Yaakov fought with the Malach, and the Malach lost and Yaakov won. Because the angel achieved his purpose. He was supposed to fight with Yaakov, and Yaakov was supposed to win. And because Yaakov won and the angel lost, that was the reason why the Malach could sing Shira before Hashem. Because now the Malach achieved his objective, he did what he was told, and now that's his turn to sing the Shira. It's precisely because of the fight. It's not because he chose the day to fight Yaakov, and that was always going to be his day to sing Shira. No. It was because it was a direct result of the fight with Yaakov that he went to sing Shira. And this shows us a tremendous insight into the Yetzer Hara, because after all, the Yetzer Hara is very complicated. You'll never understand him completely, because he's a malach after all. But one thing you can understand, and this, you need to put your head to this a little bit, but all the things that the Yetzer Hara throws at us, if we beat him, ultimately, he is going to be happy. We think he's happy when we fall prey to him. When we lose, we think, he's happy. No, there's two people fighting, and the one who gives the biggest zets to the other one, and he comes out the winner. I won the fight. It's not like that with the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara wants to lose. He's born to lose. He's a challenger, but ultimately, when you win, when the person wins, the Yetzer Hara is also happy. He says, "Look, I've given him a good run for his money. Now I'm happy. Now I've been defeated. Now I'm happy." That's why he went to sing Shira. He was happy, and when a person's happy, that person's in a good mood to sing Shira. That's my own thought. Notice that Yaakov didn't feel that his job was complete. The Yetzer Hara said that I fought, I lost, I'm going up to sing Shira. Not so by Yaakov. Because a Jew or a person must never feel that he's won the fight, now he can sit back on his laurels. That's it, fine, I'm going to play golf, I've done my work, I'm retiring, I'm going to Florida, that's it, retirement period. I'm going to Spain or going to Tel Aviv or whatever it is. And that's it, fine, I've done my job. Well, what more do you want? No, Yaakov was always on his guard. The person should never feel that once he's beat the Yetzer Hara, then that's it, fine. He's never going to come back again. I give him a beating, I've given him such a lashing that he's never going to come back now. He's gone away with his tail between his legs. We'll never see him again. A person should never feel like that. Should never think that, because he's always going to come back and get you in some way or another. So that was okay by the Yetzer Hara, but not by Yaakov. We talked recently about Yishmael doing teshuvah. When Yishmael's father, Avraham Avinu, when he died, we said that Yishmael went behind Yitzchak. Yitzchak was the one who was going before the Aron, before the mitah, the coffin of Avraham Avinu. He let Yishmael, even though Yishmael was older, he was the older son of Avraham, 13 years older, he still let Yitzchak go first. Why? Because he did teshuvah. And we are told also, believe it or not, that Esav also at one point in his life, he also did teshuvah. Where was this? It's at the end of last week's parasha, when he married a girl called Machalat. Who was this Machalat that he married? Where is it? Was it end of this week's parasha. End of Tolos, rather. Oh, it's two parashas ago. He married Machalat. Was her name Machalat? Her name was not Machalat. Her name was Basmat, like basmati rice. So why was she called Machalat? Because Machalat contains the word mochel. It's from the word mochel. Mechila shows that a person has mechila when he gets married. So Esav achieved some level of teshuvah, but it did not last, because you can see by the time we get to this week's parasha, he's already confronting his brother with 400 generals, and he wants to wipe him out. He doesn't care. He's going to kill the men, the women, the children. He's a proper full-on, game-on onslaught. What's going on here? Ishmael did teshuvah. That teshuvah lasted. Esav did teshuvah. By the time we get to this week's parasha, it's all forgotten. So how come? What's the difference between Ishmael's teshuvah and Esav's teshuvah? The difference is related to what we just said now, about the difference between the Malach Sami and Yaakov Avinu, which typifies the Jew, the perfect Jew, or the Jew who is perfection. Because Esav, once he reached his level of teshuvah, whatever that level was, once he got there, he stopped. He said, wait, now I've done teshuvah. Now I can stop. There's nothing else to do. Now I'm going to move on with my life. He's happy to stop there. He's happy to make that teshuvah a self-contained, standalone unit. That teshuvah is not going to last. That teshuvah is going to be washed away. It's going to be eroded. And before you know it, the teshuvah is already a thing of the past. And it could be that Esav became even worse. I'm just thinking now, many times people do teshuvah, they don't make it a part of them. Then people renege on that teshuvah and they become even worse. Chas v'chalila. This is what happened with Esav. His teshuvah was very short term because he didn't make it a part of himself. He didn't want to improve on it. He didn't want to make it a lasting work in progress. Yishmael, his teshuvah, that he solidified. And he took that with him to his grave. Unfortunately, he never passed it on to his children. And we'd have to talk about what problems we have in our day and age from the descendants of Ishmael. Not just us, but the entire world. But Esav, on the other hand, he couldn't hold on to it. He was very happy with his own little level, his own madrega of teshuvah. And if you don't build on it, you're going to start slip-sliding down the other way. So already you're seeing that there's a bit of a theme going on here. With the teshuvah of a person, if it's just left unchecked, you're going to lose it. It's like the malach of Esav. Again, to connect that, we're going to say that he doesn't want you to ask questions. He doesn't want you to improve. If he doesn't want you to improve, things will always go sliding backwards. In Perek Lamed Beit, Pasuk Yud Beit. Let's turn there. Hatzileni na miyad achi miyad Esav. Yaakov is praying to Hashem. He's saying, look, I know there's going to be a war with my brother. So save me from him. Please, Hashem, save me. But he says, save me from the hand of my brother, the hand of Esav. There's a bit of a double thing going on here. Why does he say, save me from the hand of my brother, the hand of Esav? Why not save me from the hand of my brother Esav? He didn't have any other brothers. What do you mean, hand of my brother, hand of Esav? It was only the two of them. And if you say Esav, automatically that's his brother. There's no other Esav in the Torah. Chazal tell us that there really are two aspects of Esav. And again, this relates very well to the malach of Esav. How we said that he comes in many different forms. There are two main forms that Esav will come to you as. The one form is literally the Esav that we all No, the one that hates Yaakov and always will hate Yaakov. What is he like? He's like the Stalins and the Hitlers. And we mentioned all these other terrible people, all these other Rishaim Gemurim. That type of Esav, you know what you're dealing with. You know, he's a bad guy, he wants to kill me, I better run away, or I better do something. The danger is very clear and it's very obvious. But the other side of Esav, the side of Esav that's called Achi, Hatzilei na miyad Achi, save me from my brother. That's the one that's so much more formidable, so much more scary. What does it mean? The brother Esav, the one that we're related to, we're family, is the one that comes to you dressed as an erlicha person, an amazing person. Who comes, he puts his hand out, shakes your hand. He says, come with me. I'll look after you. He takes your hand, and you might be in a very vulnerable and weak position. You might be lonely. You might be neglected. You might be bullied. It could be anything. You could be perfectly normal. And this man takes your hand and says, come with me. I'll take you to the casino. Because I'll look after you. Nobody else is looking after you. I'm going to be your friend. I'll hug you. And I'll kiss you. And I'll show you all the love that you never got. Your parents never loved you. Your siblings never loved you. Your friends, they call yourself your friends, they never loved you. I will love you. I'll take you places, I'll show you all the best times. Just trust me. What have you got to lose? That's the Esav, that's the Achi, that's the brother. That's the one that comes to you with all these promises. And it's, on paper it sounds brilliant. If you look at it logically, it sounds fantastic. Because a person who's been neglected or has low self-esteem, and now he's got this offer, this is an offer he doesn't want to refuse. But it's at precisely this point that a person has to look and check who is the one who's giving him this offer he's not going to refuse. Where does he want to take me? What do he want to do with me? What's he going to give me that's going to be good for me, that I need in my life? What's my return on investment? Is he going to take me to the casino, to the club, to the bar, to the pub, wherever it is? Is that going to make me a better person? Is that going to make me a better Jew if I live this lifestyle? He's going to take me to the computer. He's going to take me to the phone. I'll be playing with my phone every 5 minutes. Is that going to make me a better Jew? Is that going to fulfill my life's purpose? Is that what they're going to put on my matzeva after 120 years? He was the best mobile phone user ever. He played the best computer games. He was the best internet surfer. I challenge you, find me one gravestone that says anything remotely similar to that. Most gravestones that we see, she was an Eishes Chayil, he was a tzaddik, he helped people, he did mitzvot, he did chesed shel emet. Never does it say he was the biggest fresser. You know, I was going to say he made the best apple cake, but we already told a story about that. So maybe there are little loopholes, maybe there are exceptions to this rule. And even that they wanted to change the gravestone. If you remember the story I told you a couple of weeks ago. But you never see this on a general basis. But all these things are rooted in that short-term solution that he's trying to sell us. He's trying to sell us down the river. You have to be aware that the Esav, who's the Achi, is so much worse than the Esav, who is the Esav, the formidable enemy. And again, I find another connection here. When we see that Yaakov and Esav actually met, they stood face to face. What does it tell us? That when Esav went up to Yaakov, Esav kissed Yaakov. He kissed his brother. And you look at it in the Chumash, I remember I talked about this last year. It sounds so beautiful. It's so nice. You can imagine two little kids who'd been fighting when they were growing up, and now they got older. One of them is very contrite, and the other one, they start hugging, and it's so nice. And you hear the violins and the whole string section, the Philharmonic playing, and you're crying. Beautiful. What can be better than that? But you need the Midrash to tell you what actually happened on the scene. You can't take that at face value. You can't take that blighted by our ignorance, by thinking how we think in the movies. That's not what happened here. So what happened here? Esav had a nefarious objective. He approached Yaakov not because he wanted to kiss him and hug him. He wanted to kill him. Says the Midrash, Yaakov's neck turned to stone because Esav wanted to bite him like a dog. Imagine that, like a wolf. Wanted to bite his own brother, sink his teeth into his neck. It's not enough getting a gun, a laser, no. This is full on hand to hand, not even a sword. He doesn't even tell his soldiers to come and kill him. No, I want to do it myself. Not with a knife, not with a club, with my teeth, my face, my head. I want to, old school style. Proper killing him physically, with his own mouth. But Yaakov's neck turned to stone. So then what did he do? He started kissing him. Kissing his neck. Why? Because already his first tactic was the Esav tactic, to bite him till he severed his neck, and then he would bleed to death. But then that didn't work. In fact, Chazal tell us he lost all his teeth. His teeth fell out. And then, because he had no teeth, he started kissing. The kissing is the kissing of the brother. He wanted to kiss him and show me you're my brother. That was the second tactic. That was the friendly man who comes to you when you're vulnerable. And he wants to give you everything, wants to give you a life of pleasure that you've never seen before. That is so much worse. And in a way, that was from the Pardes Yosef. And in a way, I wanted to connect that to Hanukkah, which is coming up in less than 2 weeks now. Because what was the enemy that was the Greeks? You see very little about warfare with the Greeks. And there was a war, and the Hashmonaim went and fought them. But what was the real war with the Greeks? The real war with the Greeks was the war that was done with the mouth. They wanted to tell us, come, be like us. Come and do our Olympics. Come and, be part of our pleasure system. We'll give you all the pleasures you want. Just forget the Torah. You don't need the Torah. You don't need Rosh Chodesh. You don't need Shabbat. You don't need Brit Milah. You don't need nothing. Leave all this behind. That's all from the past. That's all superstition. Come to us. We're the new race. We know we've got all the technology that you need. Leave all the candlelight behind. We've got everything you need. Ironically, now you see, we all put our trust in technology, lighting and our heating and everything. And then what happens? A little bit of water. Suddenly, everyone's going back to candlelight. It's terrible. All this thing that happened with this Hurricane Sandy is terrible. It's terrible. But one thing that comes out of it is that you can't trust. You can't trust in any of these things. You can't trust in your technology. It's there for you to use. But you trust this over Hashem? You put all your faith and your belief in all these things, all these worldly things that Hashem gave us as gifts to serve Him. And we use it as things to rebel against Him. That's terrible. So Hashem says, look, a little bit of wind, water, and now everything gets knocked out. No power, no lighting, and now we're back to the Stone Age. Now see what happens. We shouldn't, Chas v'shalom, we shouldn't make light of this. It's a terrible thing. And people lost fortunes out there. We should, chas v'shalom, never want to belittle something like this. But I'm saying, the one lesson we can get is that what are we using the technology for? Are we using it to help us serve Hashem and limiting it to just that? Or do we use it as a means in and of itself? We make that our own mini God. This is our God now, with a small g, of course. Person has to think about this. See, this is the connection with the Greeks. The Greeks, apart from fighting with us, that was only one aspect. The main aspect, the war with the Greeks, the whole miracle of Hanukkah, is that they wanted to fight us by befriending us, by asking them to come to us, be like us. The Jew should never be like anybody else. A Jew should be like himself, first and foremost. He has to learn to be true to himself, to do exactly what Hashem told him to, not be like somebody else, not imitate that which is so different. I'm going to mention one more point, and then I'm going to finish off with a story, a mashal, a parable. So, there's another connection to Hanukkah in this week's parasha. You know, Yaakov, when he fought with the angel and he went across the Yavok, the Yabok river, he turned back. He took all his family across the river, and they said, hang on a minute, I forgot something. He runs back. What does he get? Pachim ketanim, small vessels. So in the past we've talked about the fact that a tzaddik always values something that he gets, that he earns honestly. He doesn't want to leave it behind because he earned it in an honest way according to the halakha, and he doesn't want to leave it. A tzaddik values everything that Hashem gives him. And it's a tremendous thing. A person, gives value on gifts that Hashem gives him. It's a tremendous thing. Then we have to compare that to something else that happened with Yaakov. Because Yaakov, when he was going to Mitzrayim, he took all the wealth that he had amassed. And what did he do? He gave all his wealth to Esau. He made a big pile. And he gave it all in exchange for Esau's chelek in Ma'arat HaMachpelah. He said, look, I want to give you everything that I have, everything that I've earned outside of Eretz Israel, and I'm going to give it to you. All I want is the burial plot in the family gravesite. Yes, Esau said, of course, b'chavod. Take it, I don't need it. Just give me the money. So Esau takes the money and he goes. This is the same Yaakov that went across the river facing tremendous danger, and he got caught in a fight with an angel just because he went for some small jugs, which, according to one opinion, those jugs were the jugs that were the pachim ketanim for one of those pachim was from the miracle of Hanukkah. So this sounds like two different people. Somebody who cares so much about even tiny little things, and somebody who gives away everything to one person for one thing. How do you understand these two different aspects of Yaakov Avinu? The answer is really both things are true. A person must value his money. There's a saying that says, Yisrael chas al mamono. A Jew has pity and mercy for his belongings. Not supposed to squander things. Not supposed to just say easy come, easy go. Person earns things in an honest way, according to the Shulchan Aruch. You're not going to give it away easily. So of course a person shouldn't squander and be a spendthrift like that. But when it comes to a mitzvah, when it comes to buying the sacred plot in Ma'arat HaMachpelah, for that's beyond any money. Money is no object. When it comes to a mitzvah, person should not put the money above the mitzvah. That's the Yaakov Avinu that we must understand. Of course you're supposed to value money, but over and above a mitzvah, no. A mitzvah comes your way, you're supposed to spend the money. If somebody comes to you and he says, I've got an etrog for sale, it's going to be £400, you're not supposed to haggle with him. Either if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. That's something else. But if you want to buy it, you're not supposed to say, you know what, will you give me 200 for it? Because a mitzvah is a mitzvah. Really and truly, mitzvot are beyond any money. If a person knew the true value of a mitzvah, you wouldn't even hesitate. Of course, a person has to think in sensible terms. He can't deprive his whole family. Everything has to be done in a sensible way. Of course, you need to discuss things with your Rav. But really and truly, a mitzvah is beyond any physical value in this world. That's what a person has to understand. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with this mashal, which I believe I've told before. But I'm going to tell it again because I think it's very appropriate, because we're discussing Esav and his representative in this world, the Malach Samach Mem, and how he behaves in this world, how he tempts us, how he tricks us. So the following parable is about a father. He has a boy after many years, and he brings up this boy in the way of the Torah, and the boy decides he's going to seclude himself in the attic of his house, and he's going to learn Torah day and night. And he's a good boy, he's learning, he's steiging. And he comes to his father and he says, Daddy, I'm learning all day and all night. I just feel there's something missing. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something that's missing. And I heard that there's a big tzaddik who lives in the next village, and if I go to him, I want to ask him what I can do. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? What am I lacking? So his father said, You want to ask this great tzaddik? He says, but you've been learning so many years. You know so much Torah. You've been learning day and night. Surely this must be a figment of your imagination. How could you feel something lacking? You've got so much. And he convinces his son not to go to the rabbi. But the son, still, he's learning for another week or 2 weeks. He still has his feelings. He says, Daddy, I don't feel right. So the father says, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go to the tzaddik. Let's get the horse and the wagon, and we'll go to the next village, and we'll see if we get there, if everything goes well, then we'll go. We'll see the tzaddik and finish. But if it doesn't go well, then we're going to have to review the situation again. Fine. So they get in the wagon. The wagon's going over into the next village. They go over a bridge. What happens? One of the wheels of the wagon falls off, and the whole thing tips, and then they can't go any further. The father gets out. He says, you see, this is a siman from Shammai. It's a sign from heaven. You shouldn't have asked this thing. I told you. The son says, Tati, what can I tell you? And they go back. Again, the son feels, things are not right. Tati, please, let's go again. Try it one more time, please. The father says, okay, you know what? For you, I'll do it again. But I'm telling you from now, I don't approve of this. So they go again across the bridge. This time, what happens? One of the horses gets lame and it falls off. And then the whole thing, the wagon goes careering all over the place. Woman's going to fall off the bridge. And now the father comes and he says, look, this is the second time it's happened. Can't you see this is a sign from Shamayim? Of course, the son doesn't want to argue with his father, and they go back home. A number of months pass, and now the son feels, look, I still don't feel it. I'm going to ask my father again. Goes to his father, says, Daddy, please, I know it's happened twice. Please, can we try let me go and see the tzaddik. Let me ask him. The father initially says, no. In the end he says, look, it happened twice. Look, we'll do it one more time. And you know what? That's it. After that, that's it. So what happens now? They get in the wagon and they're going across the bridge. And this time they make it across the bridge. The son doesn't say anything. The father's carrying on. So what happens? It's longer than a one-day journey. It's the next village. It's far away. So they stop in an inn. And when they're in that inn, there's a few people there, and they start talking to the people. And the people are saying, oh, you're strangers in town. Where you come from? Oh, we're from, the next village. We're on our way to this other village, whatever. And they said, oh, what's your business in that other village? So the father and son say, look, there is a tzaddik over there. We want to go to him for a bracha, or for an eitzah. We want to get some advice. So one of the people in this group says to the father, he says, what? You want to go and see this tzaddik? So I've just come from there. You're going to go and see him. I'm just come from him. And I'm telling you something, he's a no-gooder. It's not worth it, I'm telling you. I went there. Not only is he not a tzaddik, he dresses like a tzaddik, but he's nothing. He's a charlatan, he's this, he's that. It's not worth it at all to go. I'm telling you, take my word for it. I've just come from there. Don't bother. Turn your wagon around and go home. So the father turns around to the son. He says, how many times do you want to hear it? You heard the man. That's not me. It's him. He's just come back from him. So of course the son acquiesces, and then they go back home. Shortly after, the son gets an illness and he dies. Of course the father's heartbroken. And the father has a dream. And in the dream he sees his son in the dream. And he sees his son is very agitated, very angry. And the father can't believe he's seeing his son in the dream. He says, son, it's so good to see you, but why are you so angry? You're in Shemayim. How can you be angry? And the son doesn't say anything until he says one thing. He says, I'm angry because you didn't let me go and see the tzaddik. And that's it, it's the end of the dream. What happened after that? The father is going on a journey, wherever he's going. Maybe he's also going to the next village for whatever reason it was. And he happens to bump into this merchant that had told him that he'd come from the tzaddik and the tzaddik was no good. And the father said, hey, I recognize you. You were the person who told me not to go to the tzaddik. So the merchant said, yes, I was the person. You're free to go to him now. You can go if you want. He says, why? What do you mean? He says, do you know who I am? He says, I am the Yetzer Hara. I am the Samach Mem. I am the whatever, Sami. And the reason that I did not want you to go to see the tzaddik is because if your son would have gone to him, they would have brought Mashiach. And I tried to prevent you. I just gave you this cock and bull story, and you believe it, and that's it. But now you can go if you want, because you're not going to bring Mashiach. It was only him, your son, who could have brought Mashiach. And of course, the father was heartbroken. What a terrible mistake he could have made. And what's the point of this parable? Interesting story. What does it mean? So I heard this from Rabbi Wallerstein, and he gives the following explanation. He says, the father is the guf, it's the body. The son is the neshama, it's the soul. And the tzaddik is the Ribono Shel Olam. The soul is constantly nagging the body. I'm missing something. Everything is going nicely, status quo, fine, everything fine. We're going through the motions. We're going to shul. But there's something missing. We're doing everything by rote. We're very happy where we are. We don't want to improve. But I need something else. I need Hashem. I need more Torah. I need to improve. What does the body say? No, don't worry about it. You're fine as you are. You're a tzaddik. You do so much. 3 times a day davening. Keeping a kosher home, keeping Shabbat, that's no mean feat. You're a person of stature. You want more than that? You're better than all the other people. He tells us that we're a tzaddik. And then the neshama doesn't get its way. And then after 120 years, the neshama goes up to Shamayim. And then the body finds out the truth. That really it was the Yetzer Hara stopping us from going to Hashem, from doing the right thing. He's telling us a huge lie. It's the worst swindle. So what a person has to do is realize in this world, he's got to connect with his neshama. If his neshama is telling him something, he's got to listen to it. He's got to act on that information. He's got to do the right thing. Don't let the Yetzer Hara come in that guise of the righteous person, the correct person, the erlich person, and tell you, no, you're fantastic, you're wonderful. You're my brother, come with me, I'll show you a good time. Don't worry about that. You're much better off as you are. You don't need any more than that. Don't let him tell you that. A Jew must never feel like he's a self-contained unit and he's okay where he is, because that is detached from Hashem. You have to attach yourself to Hashem, not detach yourself from Hashem. Because if you detach yourself from Hashem, that's like Esav Teshuvah. That's like the Teshuvah that's, you feel, I'm okay, I'm on my plateau, and that's it. Because that's going to wear away. Then you'll find yourself worse off. A person has to build and realize that it's a constant fight. It's a constant battle. For the Yetzer Hara, that's fine for him. He goes up to Shemaim, he sings Shira. But are you going to also turn around and say, right, I'm going home and that's it, I've done my work? No, you've got to be on your guard. Because if he's gone, you can be sure he's going to come back again. It might be depressing to understand this, but that's the reality. A person has to constantly be on his guard. But believe me, there will come a time when we can rest, when we can sit down and we can enjoy. That will come after 120 years in Shamayim, when there's no more mitzvot, no more averot. When we can enjoy the peirot of our work. When we can enjoy the peirot of our ancestors. We can join with them. Tachat kanfei Shechina. May we all merit to see the time that we're going to see Tchiyat HaMeitim. We're going to see all our loved ones again. And we'll all join with Mashiach. And the Yetzer Hara will be shechted. And there'll be no more Yetzer Hara. And we can enjoy. Hashem will give us the crowns on our heads. And we'll all be in the place where we all should be. May it happen speedily in our time. Amen.